The NFL season, it's going strong. And DraftKings Sportsbook hooking new customers up with an offer even stronger. Bet $5, that's it, on any game this week to score $200 instantly in bonus bets. How easy is that? And DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game this October. Get in on the action. Get in on the game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. The code is Colin, C-O-L-I-N. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you just bet $5 on the National Football League. That easy. That's the code Colin, C-O-L-I-N, only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. So, two things. One, Kansas City needs to go get a wide receiver at the trade deadline. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. I think Denver at this point would trade in division. I think Denver's got to figure out Denver. I think they know they're not in the same stratosphere as Denver knows they're not in Kansas City's galaxy. So there used to be sort of an unwritten rule. You just didn't trade in division. Try not to trade in conference. If you're Sean Payton, you're staring at Russell Wilson's contract. You got to solve your stuff. You can't worry about that. You can't worry. Anybody you trade them is not going to be around in 2 or 3 years probably anyway. Kansas City moves off star receivers. They move off all receivers, including Tyreek Hill and others. Juju Smith-Schuster, one and done. So Kansas City is a really good football team, but I think the entire league looks at San Francisco and looks at the way they've thrashed Pittsburgh's roster and the Cowboys. You're going to really struggle to move the football if you're the Chiefs against that San Francisco defense if you eventually face them, or Philadelphia's defense for that matter. So Chiefs, go get a wide receiver at the deadline. We've been talking about that for a couple of weeks. When you have Andy Reid and Mahomes and you're scoring 19 and dominating time of possession, you need another pop on the perimeter. As far as Denver, there's just no way Russell Wilson's going to last half of this contract. New owner, Sean Payton. You can say what you want about Sean Payton, but next to Andy Reid, he's the most innovative offensive guy in the last 15 years in the NFL. I know half a dozen players that have played for him and loved him, thought he was just a brilliant coach. And there's a reason, many people wanted to interview him. He's the smartest football coach I've ever interviewed on a consistent basis. In terms of knowledge of offense. Just layered beyond layered. He won with Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Brees. He won with Taysom Hill, a winning record. Never been shut out. He knows what he's doing. I know people didn't like the call he made tonight at the end of the first half. It doesn't matter. There's no salary cap for coaches. He's going nowhere. The GM might get replaced. Now, the good news for Denver, even with Russell Wilson's contract, you can turn things around really quickly in this league. This is not Major League Baseball where you need like 4 drafts and certain teams have spending limitations, right? Like a third of Major League Baseball, maybe half, just can't compete with the Houstons and the Dodgers and the Mets financially. It's not the NBA where you really have to have 3 high-end players to compete for a championship. Kansas City has 1 elite defensive player. Bolton's a very good linebacker, but Chris Jones is your Pro Bowler. The bottom line, young and cheap on defense works. You're going to spend your money on quarterback, left tackle, star receiver, or tight end. That's where the smart teams in this league, like Kansas City, spend their money on offense. The teams like Pittsburgh that are spending their money on defense, when's their last big playoff win in the last decade, right? So, you get rid of some players, you get yourself 10 or 11 draft picks, you hit on 7 of them. The Rams had 14 guys make the team this year out of the draft. I think it was 14. I could be wrong on that number. And they've been much better defensively than anybody thought. So you can turn it around. The Seahawks had back-to-back drafts where they nailed their first 4 or 5 picks. That's 10 players. And that's what Denver has to do. They've got to nail 5 or 6 players per draft over the next 2 years and have a lot of, for lack of a better term, cheap labor. I mean, they got to have inexpensive players, a lot of third, fourth, fifth, sixth round guys. And when you're not a great defensive team like the Rams coming into this season, you can do that. Fifth round guys have an impact. So, but this just isn't going to work. I mean, 95 yards passing, 17 yards passing, I think, or 32 yards passing in the first half for Russell Wilson. It's just not going to work. And, you know, people say, well, it's not Russell's fault. Listen, when that game was 13-0, it felt over. It would not have felt over with Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. So Russell Wilson is the problem. If you trail 13-0 against a good defense and the game feels over at any point other than the last 5 minutes, the quarterback's the issue. It doesn't mean he's the worst player on the team. It doesn't mean there are other issues. But his salary, combined with his lack of juice, he's the issue, right? It's really unprecedented where you see a star quarterback with no major injury drop off a cliff. It's unprecedented. In the history of the NFL, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I saw Peyton Manning at the end, 5 years older than Russ is now, and 4 neck surgeries go from really good to, clearly not the same quarterback. Russ has never had a major injury. He's a workaholic. It's just, Pete Carroll saw a lot of things. He saw him age quickly, and now it's Sean Payton's problem. So it's just not going to last very long. This owner and this coach, I think they're going to try to accumulate a lot of picks and somewhere in this draft, a very strong quarterback draft, try to get themselves the next guy. I'm dead serious. I just don't think they're going to be patient, especially in the AFC. Patience is what fired coaches say. That's what they preach. You got to get stuff solved. Phillies National League Championship Series again. So a lot of people in baseball are discouraged or disappointed that the Rays and the Orioles and the Dodgers and the Braves, who had dominating regular seasons, all got flushed out of the playoffs rather quickly. But I talked about this on FS1 today. I don't think it's a terrible thing. I think the Phillies with Bryce Harper are a great watch. And I mean, it's the Rays, the Orioles don't have national following, so I don't think it's bad for the networks, at all. I think the reality is baseball is an everyday sport, and when you give favorites, they don't have to play in that wild card round. They get 5-6 days off. I think that's problematic for those teams. I don't think it's problematic for baseball. Because, again, I think the Phillies, to me, are as much fun or a better watch due to Bryce Harper than the Braves. But the bigger issue is the Yankees weren't very good this year, and the Red Sox weren't very good this year, and the Mets were a complete disappointment. And so if the Yankees were a viable franchise, Houston's got a following, Phillies have a following, you'd be fine. But, baseball did a lot of things right in the last couple of years. They speed the game up. Attendance and TV ratings are up about 10%. They got rid of the defensive shift. I thought that was very smart. They'll never get rid of games and get down to like 120 games a year, which I think they should. I think they should start a month later, finish 6 weeks earlier, and wrap it up by October 1st or September 15th. By the time the NFL's cooking, getting into its second week, you're done. NFL is so popular now that baseball stands very little chance of pulling away audience. If you get into late October, you have to have the Yankees or like the Cubs going for a World Series. You're just not going to be able to do it unless you have the biggest brands and there's some crappy TV football games on, which, it's Thursday night on Amazon. Those games are usually pretty dull. But I don't think it's necessarily a problem that wild card teams win. I think it's the reality of baseball that it's an everyday sport. The Dodgers' offense dried up. The Braves' offense dried up. Okay? But if you're really honest about it, is that postseason baseball is a different experience entirely and a different sport than regular season baseball. So, regular season baseball is a marathon. It's a triathlon. And the postseason is about getting a hit, getting a stop, getting an out. You'll bring a star pitcher out of the bullpen to get an out and get a win if you want to seal a series, or you have a weaker pitcher going the next night against their superior pitcher. You need outs. You need to create momentum now. You need urgency. That's not the regular season. So, I just think analytics are true and they work in both the NBA and baseball, and they're smart. But postseason baseball is completely different. And the NBA playoffs are different. Sometimes you just need a bucket. You need a mid-range jumper. I use the analogy today that when you take your kids in a 5 or 6 hour drive, same kid, same car, it's different than taking them 9-minute drive to school, right? It's a different sensibility and a different strategy with young kids in a car for 6 hours. And so, same kid, same car, same team, same players, same manager, different strategy in the postseason. So the time off, I think, can be problematic for favored teams. And, the Dodgers didn't, they had a domestic issue with a pitcher, domestic violence issue with a pitcher, Kershaw's age, and injuries. So they didn't really have a true ace. And Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts just didn't hit, it's harder to hit in the postseason. It's superior pitching, more pressure. So golf and baseball are that way. Bigger the tournament, more pressure, those putts get harder. So, listen, I can't wait to watch the Phillies. I think they're a great team. And I think Bryce Harper is the biggest star remaining in the sport, so I do not think it's terrible news for Major League Baseball. Time for another week of the VLTED Challenge. We're excited to be using the VLTED app, spelled VLTED. It's the place where you can store your sports predictions, participate in prize cash pools without an entry fee at all. Download the app now. Join the Colin Cowherd Week 6 pool. Chance to win $2,500 in cash prizes. Again, it's totally free to join the pool. All you have to do, answer some questions, risk some confidence points, each prediction for a chance to beat me, walk away with some serious cash. Congratulations to Tyler Skeeters. Last week, $2,000 winner. He'll receive an exclusive challenge from me and the VLTED app. Same stakes this week. First place takes home $2,000. The winner gets to compete in a one-on-one challenge against me, the herd. So make sure to join my Week 6 pool, okay? And remember, VLTED offers free pools and cash prizes every single day. VLTED. Join the VLTED Challenge. Get downloading the VLTED app. All right, let's bring in Jason McIntyre for another edition of the VLTED Challenge. You can prove you're smarter than your friends by using the VLTED Challenge feature. Last week, I won 3 of my 4 challenges. I finished 9 units ahead. I'm taking some big swings this week. After 5 weeks, I'm up 16 units on the season. Jason's down 16. The first one to 50 wins the VLTED Challenge. I've already made my predictions for Week 6. Jason wants to challenge me on the predictions he disagrees with. So here we go. Jags against the Colts. I predict the Jags -4 will cover. I'm risking 6 units. J-Mac, why do you accept my VLTED Challenge?
Oh, wow. A little heavy on the Jags. I like the Colts here. This is a spot we've never seen before in NFL history. A team playing back-to-back in London. How will they return to the homeland? Will it be, hey, good to see you, friends and family? Oh, you know what? I'm tired from a 2-week vacation. I don't think it'll be easy, and I do believe the change to Gardner Minshew kind of helps the Colts. Remember, when he started against the Ravens, Colin, he was able to keep them in the game the entire time. They were able to get fortunate and get the W. This is a bit of a revenge spot, if you will, for Minshew. I think the Colts could keep this close, probably lose by a field goal. I might think they could pull out the W. So I'll take the Colts here.
Patriots at Raiders. I predict the Raiders will cover -2.5. I'm risking 4 units here, Jason. J-Mac, why do you accept my VLTED Challenge?
I would love to get that full field goal, Colin. Listen, I'm not one of these Bill Belichick is done guys, but goodness gracious, that offense is from the Stone Age. But that being said, Colin, look at the defenses Mac Jones has faced. We're talking elite units and the Dolphins who are not. Now you step down in class to the Las Vegas Raiders, who kept giving Jordan Love opportunities. He couldn't make anything to do with them. I think Mac Jones is able to have a little bit of success here through the air. I think the ground game will work. I think the Raiders lose this game outright. Give me the Patriots bouncing back.
Seahawks at Bengals, one of my favorite plays. I'm going to take the Bengals -3. I'm going to risk 5 units here. I really like this play. If you can get 2.5, it's a delicious number. Yeah. Jason, why do you accept my vaulted challenge?
I for some reason, I've got that laser focus on Seattle, Colin. I do also think there was some fugaziness in the numbers from Cincinnati against Arizona. Like, let's be real. Like, Burrow was good, but it was Arizona. Seattle's got a much better secondary. They get Jamal Adams back. You know he's going to be coming after Joe Burrow from the box. I do think Witherspoon and Woolen can do a pretty good job against that secondary. Against the mighty Jamar Chase. My big concern here, obviously, is the Bengals secondary. They were lit up by Josh Dobbs. Keep an eye on Metcalf, Lockett. I think Seattle wins this one.
Cardinals, Rams, 7, it's perfect. 6.5 points, I take Arizona. Divisional rival. Rams come off a little bit of a beatdown by Philadelphia physically. I'm going to risk 7 units here. J-Mac, why do you accept my vaulted challenge?
7 units on a team we thought was going to be tanking for Caleb Williams. Wow. I feel like the Rams are just kind of getting started, Colin. Cooper Kupp is back. They looked awesome for a half against the Eagles and got bullied and pushed around. Arizona's not pushing anybody around, and this is not a second half team, this Arizona squad. I think you crunch the numbers. They've been getting pushed around late in games. I think the Rams finally look full on offense. I like the Rams to win this kind of big.
Giants versus the Bills. I predict Stephon Diggs will have less than 92.5 yards of receiving against the Giants. I'm going to risk 9 units. Big swing. Jason, why do you accept my vaulted challenge?
9 units. I mean, how many more tablets does Stephon Diggs have to destroy on the sideline out of frustration if he's not getting the ball? And by the way, Giants cornerbacks, holy cow, that rookie Banks is getting lit up like a Christmas tree. Colin, I think Diggs, remember, the last time he complained a lot, he got the ball the next game. Josh Allen's going to feed his beast. I think Diggs has a big, big game, and the Bills pull out the W over the Giants.
So those are my predictions for week 6. Very good week last week. They are now secured, locked into the Vaulted app. If you want to prove you're smarter than your friends, go download the Vaulted app and use the challenge feature. You can win $2,000 if you enter the Colin Cowherd week 6 pool. Not only can you beat me, $2,000 could be in your pocket. I will also send the pool winner a challenge of my own. Remember, Vaulted spelled VLTED, and the QR code is right there on the screen.